to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this evening we have two recognitions on the agenda. The first is to recognize the National Merit Semifinalists from Cedarburg High School. Mr. Casey Go, CHS Principal, will share a little more about the award and these exceptional students.
Good evening, Dr. Clark, Board of Education. Thank you for the opportunity to publicly celebrate our National Merit Scholarship awardees. It brings me great pleasure to share that Ishan Patil and Elliot Wymore have been chosen as semifinalists from approximately 1.3 million high school students who applied for the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program. As semifinalists, Ishan and Elliot now have the opportunity to apply for finalist status. Elliot's here, We're excited to offer Ishan and Elliot our full support as they navigate the application process and wish them the best of luck as they pursue further recognition. The National Merit Organization will evaluate their applications based on various factors, including their performance on the PSAT, academic achievements, the rigor of their coursework at Cedarburg High School, and additional information provided in their application. We eagerly anticipate the announcement of finalists in February, when National Merit Scholarship finalists are announced and associated scholarships are shared. In addition to Ishan and Elliot's selection as semifinalists, I'm also delighted to share that Madeline Kiekefer, Jonah Kinsey, Eliana Lisecki, Josh Moslick, and Anna Moyler, who's not here.
She just came in.
Have all received letters of commendation from the National Merit Scholarship Program. All of our students recognized tonight have excelled while embracing the most challenging courses at Cedarburg High School, which is known for offering one of the most rigorous programs in Wisconsin. These students have demonstrated unwavering dedication to expanding their knowledge of complex concepts and tackling our most demanding coursework. This recognition is a testament to their commitment to learning, perseverance, and determination. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize these students tonight. In closing, I would like to extend my congratulations to each of CHS's National Merit Scholarship Program awardees and wish Ishan and Wyatt the best of luck as they continue through the process. Thank you.
Congratulations. Why don't you all stand up real quick if you want to take a quick picture?
Yep.
Oh, right up there. Thank you. The second week, which is officially October 6th through the 12th, 2024. In honor of the dedication of our school board members have towards the Cedarburg School District and our students, we would like to present each of you with a small school board survival kit treat bag. Each of them have that in front of them. Board members, as you enjoy your treats, please be reminded of the impact you have on helping the Cedarburg educators provide a nurturing environment in which the students can develop into lifelong learners, become responsible adults, and achieve their goals and dreams. Thank you, Cedarburg School Board members.
Would you like to move on to the consent agenda?
All right, with regard to the consent agenda, board members, I ask that you approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on August 21st, 2024, the budget and finance report, which includes a summary of account, check register, check detail, and credit card transaction reports, and the personnel report. Now that the audit is completed, also included are the summary of accounts for the months of June and July. Mr. DeRosa, Director of Human Resources, is here to provide an overview of the personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Good evening, school board. This evening, we're seeking board approval for the separation of Christine Bigman and the hiring of Jessica Brammer and Robert Flagg.
Are there any questions?
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? So let's take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The consent agenda passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, the 2024-25 school year is certainly underway, and we are already into the third week of school. This Friday is the all-important third Friday count, which helps determine our finances for the full year. Tonight, we have a couple of presentations as part of the superintendent's report. The first presentation will be from Dr. Derek Schaefer, CHS German teacher, as he describes the German-American Partnership Program, or Alley-Reach.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Good evening, school board members. I'm very excited to introduce Per Schaefer for our partnership in the GAP program here at Cedarburg. He's going to talk to us a little bit about some of their recent experiences and give us a little bit of a preview to some upcoming experiences. And very excited to have him here tonight. He gets to celebrate his birthday by presenting to the Board of Education, so I can't think of anything better. So, Per Schaefer.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, school board. Thank you for having me. As you mentioned, right, I am Herr Dr. Schaefer, German teacher here at Cedarburg High School, and just giving a report on, first of all, our experience this spring in the GAP German-American Partnership Program exchange. We had German students this spring, 20 students from the Ammersee Gymnasium in Gießen, Germany, joined us here at CHS. And again, the partnership has been running since my predecessor, Babette Timmerman, started it in 2017, and has had exchanges every year since, with the exception of the COVID year, of course, 2020 and 2021. So the students at the Ammersee, or Lake Ammer Gymnasium, they attend a university preparatory school, which is very much in the traditional trajectory of higher education in Europe. So therefore, when they come to CHS, the students see those who are engaged in similar academic rigor as what they are there, which is a very high academic rigor, and so they are engaged in classes while they're here. They participate in courses as much as they can, as much as their English skills will allow, which is pretty good. But what they don't have, and they are extremely impressed with, that we have here at CHS, and frankly a little jealous, are the opportunities that CHS provides all students, from the wide variety of courses that we offer here, which is not something like they have over there. Again, those students at that school are destined for straight classic European university. Or to the state-of-the-art technology that we offer our students here. Again, it's very sort of classic books and chalkboards, and they do have some technology, but not like we have here. So they're very impressed and really enjoy being here and experiencing all the different variety of courses that Cedarburg offers our students here. So, and of course, like I said, they work on their English skills as well. So, all of this while most of them are getting a first taste of what life is like in the United States with one of our families here in Cedarburg. So. I know that my counterpart, Frau Andrea Schwindler, as well as the Ammersee School, are heavily invested in this exchange program, and she's expressed this to myself and to Mr. Bohr, principal. She and I see what a tremendous experience this GAP program is for the students. Our round of the exchange that we just had here in the spring is the first of the year of this particular round. So this is actually the first time the students saw each other face to face as when they come here. And it really is something to see when they first arrive, the first slightly awkward hugs and handshakes, and to, after just a couple of weeks, bear hugs and tears as they leave. So to see that is really, truly a rewarding experience, and I know that friendships have been formed and the excitement has begun. And we'll continue to build for our return trip next summer. So again, I want to thank the board, Mr. Bowe, the parents and students, and all of the CHS and district staff for continuing to support this program. I cannot do this alone. I get a lot of support and I get a lot of help. And the GAP program really goes beyond anything that could possibly taught in the classroom. It truly makes the world their classroom. I just like to share pictures here of the experience. So this is typically what the German students will visit. They usually go to Milwaukee for a day trip. They go to the Harley-Davidson Museum. They do a little tour of Cedarburg. They also see the PAX Museum in Milwaukee, so that's part of the Milwaukee trip, and then a little bit of Cedarburg while they're here. They also went to the Cedarburg Historical Museum as well, and did a little project as well as while they were there. A little bit of translation, I think. They had some documents in German, so they tried to do a little bit of translation for the Historical Society here. They also get to go to Lambeau Field, of which I'm very jealous. So they get to enjoy that. On that same trip, they also go to the Maritime Museum in Manitowoc. And as well, they go to the United Nations Museum as well, which is truly a cultural experience for them. And then, of course, there are new and old friendships that are formed. This is the second time my counterpart, Andrea Spindler, and I have got to work together. And then, of course, Mrs. Karen Tiffany helped out on the exchange both this last year and here. Yeah, and there's a picture of the whole group. And again, you can't really see it there, but that bus in front of the bus is the somewhat tearful goodbye. But at least they know they're going to see each other again, so that's kind of exciting. The real tearful goodbye is when we leave in the fall, and then it's kind of sort of up to them whether or not they see each other again. So, but really, again, a great experience. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, next, as we started last year, from time to time, we will have different student groups share their learning experiences with the board. This evening, we have representatives from the CHS student government here to share their impact on CHS, along with Mr. Bowe and Mr. Mills.
I'm excited to get to introduce this exceptional group of students who represent the voice and spirit of this Cedarburg High School community. This is the CHS Student Council, or STUCO, as they're often referred. This year, under the leadership of our Student Council President, Braden Bacon, the STUCO will engage with school administration on initiatives, organize events such as our upcoming homecoming week activities, various charity drives, pep rallies that not only enrich our school culture, but also instill a sense of pride and belonging among our students. Please join me in welcoming Braden Bacon and fellow STUCO leadership to share more about who the CHS Student Council is and what they do to make every day a great day to be a Bulldog.
Dr. Clark and School Board, thank you very much for having us tonight. Again, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Braden Bacon, Senior Class President, as well as a few of our Student Council members, Regan Wagner, Callie Tamlingson, and Nick Laditas, as well as our advisor, Mr. Kevin Nelson. We just would like to talk a little bit about our club, which is something that is very well known over multiple districts as a student government in general. And we'd just like to go through a little bit of what we do and how we impact the school. So I'd like to start with who we are. There's a total of 24 representatives, 6 from each grade, and all of which are elected. We have electoral process in May of each year for the following year for sophomore through senior classes, and that entails an application, and once myself and Mr. Nelson review that application, the names will be put on a ballot and sent out to classes to vote. We also do officer elections, which I'll talk about in just a second. But on top of that, we do freshman elections at the beginning of each year in September, because it would be a little bit much to have them do their start their election process while still in middle school. One big thing I'd like to mention is we're a cross-sectional team. There's 24 students in Student Council that represent around 26 clubs. Some of these clubs may include FBLA DECA, the Business Club, HOSA, our Healthcare Organization Club, theater, art, cross-country, soccer, and tennis. All of these clubs show that we have different backgrounds. We all come from different places, have different interests, but we still come together and join as one council and one community to represent our grades and to put on events that we'll discuss further in this presentation. Our officer positions, we have 4 presidents, 1 per grade. The senior class president, in this case it's myself, runs the student government. We have a vice president, that's again 4, 1 per grade. And then we have a marketing secretary, which is one of the 2 positions that is open to the senior class. And they work with social media and getting things across to anything outside the student council itself. So maybe if we need to get something in front of parents, or need to put something out on Instagram, that's what the marketing secretary does. We also have our secretary, which is our second senior elected position, in which that person works with internal communication.
All right, thank you so much for having me today, school board. I'm going to be talking about what we do here at Student Council. So Student Council strives to plan events that are fun, inclusive, and impactful to our community in an effort to foster a positive culture. So a main thing that we do to help amplify school spirit and foster positive culture is by planning and organizing events, which include our homecoming dance and parade. So our homecoming dance is just a fun night for the whole school is invited to come to the CHS cafeteria and have a dance, spend some time with their friends, and have just a lot of fun. Last year, for the homecoming dance, we were able to sell 777 tickets, which is amazing, and we intend to do even better this year. The homecoming parade is just a way to recognize all of our sports and clubs that we have throughout the whole district, and it's another just a fun way to amplify school spirit as well. The Capco Kid to Kid toy drive we have during the winter. This is where we raise as many toys as we can, and then we donate them through Capco to families in need that are not able to provide gifts for their children for any occasion. Last year, our goal was to raise 1,200 in toys, and we were able to raise 1,600 toys, which is amazing. And with Capco, Stuco donates about $2,000 worth of toys to the toy drive, and we also donate to other community charities and for scholarships as well. School Pep Rallies is an event we organize for some days, on Fridays at the end of the day. During pep rallies, this is another way to recognize the sports that we have at our school, and it is also a friendly competition between the classes, which is always super fun to see. How we've improved with pep rallies over the years, we used to only have one pep rally, and now we have 3 through the school year. One is to recognize fall sports, one is to recognize winter, and then spring sports as well. And it is always really fun to see what games that the whole student council comes up with, and it's really fun to watch all the grades competing against each other. Spirit Dress-Up Days is just a special week of where we have dress-up days for everyone to participate in, which is really fun. A good example is Homecoming Week. Last year we had 5 days of the whole week of a Spirit Week, and we had 1,645 student participants, which is really great. The teachers also really like to participate as well, which is always super fun to see. It's just really cool to see everyone getting so creative with their outfits, and especially my friends, they love to take student input from them, so everyone's like, oh, I want to do this dress-up day, so it's really cool to hear their input as well. And then another big thing we do here is class presentations. So at every beginning of the year, the student council gives a presentation to their class. So I am a sophomore this year, so I gave a presentation with the rest of my sophomore team to my class. And same with the rest of the grades too. And then the whole student council gives a presentation to the freshman class as well. During these presentations, we basically just go through rules, regulations, just refreshing them about what expectations we have here at Cedarburg High School, along with some fun stuff coming up. We love to share our homecoming week, spirit days, just some things to look forward to as well. And then for the whole student council giving to the freshmen, we also love to give advice to the freshmen about high school, and along with sharing the clubs and sports that we are a part of, so if they are interested in joining them as well. Student council didn't always give these presentations. It used to be administration, but we thought that the student council would be better giving these presentations, since we feel that these students would be more engaged in what the presentation was saying, and they just know it's coming from their classmates, so they feel that we're in their shoes. We know how they're feeling. We're in the same situation as they are, starting a new year. So yeah, we tried to really connect with them on that level to help the presentations as well. We also have spruced up the slides a bit, make it look a little bit more interesting and fun for them to look at. And also a fun thing that happened, especially this year, we had some leftover time from the presentation. So I know my grade, we had some trivia with Mr. Hannum, our athletics director, which was super fun. And I know for the senior class as well, they had some time left over and they did some karaoke, and the whole grade was just going berserk over it. They were having so much fun. So yeah, that is a gist of what we do here at Student Council. We also love to plan little events here and there. We also love to just take student input and recommendations from the students as well. So yeah, that is what we do.
While we are currently amazing, we also want to make sure that we continue to be amazing. And we do this by measuring our success by looking at our homecoming ticket sales, our community involvement, and how we're growing within the club. So as far as homecoming ticket sales go, every year that I've been on student council since my sophomore year and now senior, we have increased these ticket sales by 5 to 8% each year, meaning that we're getting more of the school coming to the event, making it more desirable for the students in a place that they all want to be. CAPCO, as Callie mentioned, is a community event as well as the parade. We've been able to get businesses, different teams, different clubs, NSU soccer participates. So many different community organizations all come in to help student council as we continue to involve them. And then within the club, we have grown our election rates from 25 to 80%, which means that we're getting voted into these positions by a majority of our class, making us a real touch point for the club, and we're making sure that we're getting what the students want, not just what we want. And then we also have more filled positions than ever before. Braden mentioned that we have president and vice president for each grade, and we've never had all of those positions filled out until this year. So we have a president and a vice president for each grade, a secretary, a treasury, and a marketing officer for the senior grade as well. And then as we continue to grow, as I graduate, as Braden graduates, we know that Nick and Callie will continue to grow it, and they will do so through these goals Nick is going to talk about to you guys.
Thank you, Regan. Thank you for the confidence, and thank you, school board. So, as we come to a close for the presentation here, I'd just like to talk about some of the goals that Student Council has set for the 2024-2025 school year. So, as you can see on the left of the board, we have some 3 large, broad goals that we have set that we would like to accomplish now and throughout the entire school year. And on the right, you can see those are the ways that we're going to measure the goals on the left, and the ways that I like to call them stepping stones, the way that we're going to get to those bigger goals on the left. So moving into the left, our first goal is to bring CHS closer together as a community. Our second one is to create engaging opportunities for all high school students. And our third one is to give back to our community. And you may ask, how are we going to measure this? Well, the first event that many of my student council members have talked about is homecoming. Homecoming is one of the biggest, if not the biggest event that student council runs for the entire year. And our goal for this year is to sell 900 tickets for the homecoming dance, which is a little over 85% of all students that are enrolled at CHS. And we believe with some hard work we'd be able to get here. As Regan said, we've been growing it consistently. And homecoming is just a really great way for everybody at school to participate in an event, and everybody can be there together. You know, when people come from middle school, they're used to being only with their class and their grade, and it's really a great way to bring all of the grades together and create that strong sense of community. And not just with homecoming as well, the homecoming game, the football game before, the homecoming court, the pep rallies that we do and stuff. They all help build that sense of community, but the 900 homecoming tickets is a touch point that we can use to be able to track how many people are actually engaged in what we're doing. The second thing is pep rally involvement across all grades. So we have a fall pep rally, we have a winter pep rally, and we have a spring pep rally. Pep rallies are a really great way to showcase the sports teams that we have, and they're also a great way, friendly competition like Callie said a minute ago, and you know, we do things like tug of war, we do things like basketball, and I remember when I was a sophomore last year, we did tug of war, and as sophomores, we were able to put together a heck of a tug of war team. We were able to take down the seniors, which was awesome, to send them out, and you know, it was really great. So everybody just gets really excited, you know, everybody's yelling, having a great time, and it just really builds that sense that we're all here in the field house together, having a good time, enjoying it. You know, it's just really awesome. And then the next thing I would like to talk about is we're looking to have strong participation in the CAPCO Kids to Kids toy drive. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Capco Kids to Kids Toy Drive. It's a way for us to give back to people this holiday season that might not be as fortunate, and for students, parents, and anything in between. And our goal for this year is to get 1,800 toys. Callie mentioned a minute ago that we had 1,600 toys last year, and 1,600 toys is amazing, and as you saw, we increased from 1,200 to 1,600, so we think that 1,800 goal was definitely really attainable. And yeah, it's just a really great way to hit on that third point on the left side to give back to our community. And the last thing is reinvigorating a winter event. So we've had winter events in the past, and I must say they haven't exactly gone the best. So this year, after homecoming, we're going to try to put together a team, and we're going to try to come up with something that we can do in between semester 1 and semester 2, you know, to reinstate that sense of community that we had at the start from the homecoming and the pep rally and all those things. So as you can see, both of these things and these goals on the left and the right side work together, and the thing on the right side, and the stuff on the right side is a great way to track these things on the right side, or the left side. And yeah, so those are our goals. Thank you, guys.
Again, I just want to say thank you very much for taking your time to listen to us tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out with the contact information on the slides. Thank you.
I'd just like to thank you all for your wonderful leadership. It makes a huge difference to not only the high school, but the entire community, and I'm sure it takes a lot of time. So we thank you for tonight, and thank you for good luck, I guess, on the whole year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, since summer is officially over, we thought that it would be good for Mr. Rick Vadke, Director of Buildings and Grounds, to share the progress made on the 2 Fund 46 projects that are taken this summer.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Clark, and we'll also do members. So like Dr. Clark said, thought we just gave a projects, kind of show you the progress, a few pictures of the work that was being done. So we'll start out with the 2 air handlers that were replaced at Webster. The work was performed by Johnson Controls. They started the work on July 23rd. I would say they were on site by 8 a.m. and by 3 p.m. both units were set and were running. They were fully operational. That includes all the controls and programming. All that was finished by July 25th, and everything was fully done. So I was actually very impressed by that. I was expecting about a week's worth of work, but they knocked it out. So the school wasn't without air conditioning for very long. The estimated cost was $185,910. The actual cost came in as they estimated, so that was good. Just a couple pictures. The one on the left is a picture of the old unit when they had the crane hooked up to it, about to lift it off. And then the one on the right is the new unit being placed. So you can see the new one's a little bit higher. That was just because they had to put a buffer in there to accommodate the 2 different units. But the new units are they're night and day difference from the old ones. They were very quiet, very efficient. So we were very happy to have them. Okay. Next one is the CHS, the field house translucent panels. They're on the front of the field house and go around the pool. That company was W.L. Hall. They replaced the existing window panels. They started on July 10th, finished by the 19th. And there too, their estimated cost came in, the actual cost came in at the estimated cost. And I'll show this is a great picture here. So the one on the left is when they were actually removing the old panels and then starting to install the new ones. You could really see the difference in the color and how much clearer and cleaner the new ones are compared to the old. And that really shows up in the pool. The pool is so much brighter now. I actually think there's a lot of times where they choose not to turn the lights on in there and just let the sunlight light the room up. So again, it's been a great addition. I was able to pick the brain of the installers as far as maintenance, things like that. So now moving forward, we will keep maintaining it. They told me that we could expect them to last 30 years. So I was happy to hear that. So that's all I have. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, you can ask.
I do have one question
Sure.
about the air handlers. So
Sure.
out of the 2 that were swapped out, how much of those is salvageable for parts, or are they pretty much?
Okay, great question. No, so they were actually able to, I think we recovered 4 fan motors, and actually we have already used 2 of them. So that was great. Probably the biggest thing that we recovered was all the refrigerant out of them, which equated to about 100 pounds of refrigerant, which actually last week we had to use to recharge the main unit here at the high school. That saved us an estimated $10,000 in refrigerant cost. So we were able to use that. So that was big. I was pretty excited to hear that we were able to use all those parts.
So we'll grab the 2 controllers out of there too.
Yes, yep, and those have been sent out to be rebuilt, so that if we ever need them for the 2 existing units, they'll be available. Yes.
Great. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Reggie. All right, finally, from the superintendent's report, you'll see the seclusion restraint annual report in your package pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 118.305. 4C, 2019 Wisconsin Act 118 requires the district to report the seclusion and restraint data annually by October 1st to the school board. For each school, the district must include the report on the following information: the number of incidents of seclusion in the school during the previous school year, the total number of students who were involved in the incidents of seclusion, the number of students with disabilities who were involved in the incidents of seclusion, the number of incidents of physical restraint in the school during the previous school year, the total number of students who were involved in the incidents of physical restraint, and the number of students who were with disabilities who were involved in the incidents of physical restraint. Ms. Kara Amundson, Director of Student Services, is here to answer any questions if you may have.
Questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, next on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to speak? All right, well then we'll move on to some recommendations. Dr. Clark, do you want to give us the recommendations?
Yeah, all right. This evening we have 4 recommendations. Ms. Kim Zabel, Director of Business Services, will present the recommendation regarding a resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed $2,100,000, issuance of tax and revenue anticipation promissory notes, and participation in the PNA Levy and Aid Anticipation Notes Program. Well, this topic was discussed at the PNF committee meeting. We had not requested for the PNF committee to forward it to the full board for approval because we did not have the final numbers at that time of the meeting. We did receive the final numbers late Friday afternoon.
Thank you. So every time at this year, the district reviews the short-term borrowing need. So what we do is we take the cash flow analysis that we work with one of our financial advisors through PMA to look at our cash flow expectations for the year to come. And while the district does have a healthy fund balance as of June 30th, not all of that fund balance is in liquid cash. And even with some of that being in cash, when we have revenue in the school district that doesn't come until, majority of it come until December in the form of equalization aid and January, February in the form of taxes, we still have to start paying our teachers in September. And so we'll often have low points of cash as we run out that cash balance from June and we wait for the revenue to come in until winter. So we project that cash flow through the whole year and have an estimated borrowing need. This year's need is about $2.1 million. That's what we are asking the board to approve in short-term borrowing. We use a tax revenue anticipation note, a TRAN, for this borrowing mechanism. PMA offers this TRAN in a pool of school districts that go out to bid this out all together so that combined we get a better rate. We've used this type of borrowing mechanism for a number of years and it's worked well for us. We borrow from, it'll close at the end of October through March. So once we get all of our tax payments in and our March equalization aid payment in, we pay it back. We're actually the first district to pay it back in that whole pool. The interest rate will not go above 6%. That's stated in the resolution that you are looking at. And that equates to about $50,000 in interest that is budgeted for this next year.
Do I have a motion to take action regarding this resolution?
motion to approve the resolution authorizing temporary borrowing.
I will second that motion. Any discussion?
And just so people are aware, the borrowing amount has increased since last year, but that's because when we're anticipating money to come in would be right when payroll needs to be made. So instead of cutting it too close, just making sure we have enough to complete payroll, correct?
Yeah, on January 15th. 15th is our payroll day, and 15th is when we expect taxes to come in. And we looked at that with PMA, and they suggested we wanted to be a little bit conservative, which I agree we should be. That we go ahead and take out the extra $700,000, which is what the payroll is. So it would have been 1.4, which is less than our 1.5 last year, but we erred on the side of caution. Costs a little bit more in interest, but we're going to be conservative this year, and then we can kind of try to watch it and plan ahead and look at and make sure we can figure that out for next year.
And I'm sure Mrs. Nelson will bring up what was discussed in DNF that the board, or at least Personnel and Finance, has talked about looking at other options for cash flow that could perhaps reduce the need for paying interest on something like this in the future, because $50,000 is, it's nothing to sneeze at, it's a decent amount.
Absolutely. As we contribute to fund balance over the next couple of years, if we continue to do that and build up our fund balance a little bit higher, our need to borrow will go down. And so there are other options that we could look at, such as a line of credit with a local bank, where we would only be interested if we used it. So we'll do that analysis now as we get into the under $2 million range and kind of decide what we want to do.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries.
All right. Now, Mrs. Zabel will present a recommendation regarding the approval of a self-insured dental insurance plan with Delta Dental for 2025. This recommendation has been forwarded to the full board by the PNF committee.
So at PNF, we heard from our health and dental insurance broker, Scott Fuller from USI. He talked a lot about health insurance self-funding as an option that the health insurance program the board is still considering. We don't have final numbers on that yet. But what we do have final numbers on is the insurance renewal for dental. So our health and dental plans are January 1 renewal. So we make decisions on them now so that open enrollment can happen in November, so that we can start new health insurance January 1. So we bring to the board today the dental insurance plan. It's a little bit different this year. In previous years, we've renewed for a fully insured program with Delta Dental. And this year, taking a look at it, our renewal came in at 5%, a 5% increase, which, as you can see, it hasn't increased in a number of years. So in order to negate that increase, USI suggested that we take a look at the self-funded insurance program. Unlike health, dental is more of a max insurance than a minimum, so we pay up to $2,000 per employee instead of $2,000 the employee pays, and we pay everything else, health insurance. So the risk is mitigated. It is somewhat common for school districts to have self-insured dental plans, and by doing so, we remove the administrative fees and result in a 0% increase for our employees and for our district benefit for dental.
Can you talk a little bit about how this would impact employees, if at all, and how the district would handle all of the claims management?
So there is no change to our dental insurance provider. Delta Dental will still be the dental administrator. So from the employee side, in fact, no changes because we don't even have an increase to rates. From our side, it's a little bit different in cash management. We pay out claims instead of paying a monthly bill. Compared to health insurance, the claims are so much smaller for dental, but we do monthly reports and watch to see if we're plus or minus on our average for every month. And then at the end of the year, we could have either a gain where we didn't have to pay out in claims as much as we expected, or we could have a loss, where we had to pay out more than we expected or than our actuaries determined based on our rate. So it's minimal, probably in the $10,000 to $30,000 range-ish is what I've seen in dental gains and losses, but it still is a little bit of a risk on the accounting side. But we watch that and report to the board. We'll report to the board on an ongoing basis about that.
Can you speak on behalf if there's a gain, what happens with that gain 1 year versus a loss the following year, and how that will all work?
Yep, so a self-funded program, whether it's health or dental, the board can decide what to do with that. But if you would choose to put it into a segregated, designated fund balance account, we could do that if there's a gain. If there's a loss, it gets taken from either that account, if there's money in that account, or from the general fund balance.
Ken, have you heard from employees at all of their, their view of Delta Dental? I know that there were some that had basically stopped accepting Delta Dental locally, but I don't know how far reaching that is, if that really impacted a lot of employees, or just feedback in general on the district keeping with this, even if it is, so this proposed plan.
I haven't heard any feedback other than my own to myself on Delta Dental, but we are meeting with the insurance committee next week, and that is something that we'll ask. We're not in a position to change that. We didn't go out to bid for other dental companies at this time. The Delta Dental changes happened this summer for a lot of people. It's like it started in the last year, I think. So that's something we'll definitely keep our ear on over the next year, and kind of decide what we want to do next year, especially as we hear from employees in that experience.
Great, thank you.
Do I have let's see, a motion on the dental insurance adoption or to self-funded?
I would make a motion to adopt the self-funding for the Delta Dental plans.
I will second. Any discussion? Let's take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Any abstentions? Just checking. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, since Ms. Alva's up there, we'll have her stay up there, and this time we'll present on a recommendation regarding the Bridge Road property lease. This recommendation has been forwarded to the full board by the P&F committee.
The district owns 20 acres on Bridge Road of farmland, and every year we lease out that farmland to a local farmer who then either grows crops on it or tills it or maintains that land for us. We bid it out every 3 to 5 years to see what the rate for this per acre, what the per acre rate for this parcel would be. We hadn't bid it out in a number of years, and so one thing that Ben asked me to do when I started was to bid it out this year ahead of the 2025 lease renewal. So went ahead and thought that was a good idea, that we needed to do that because we hadn't done that in a while. So I put the bid out on the website, and I also contacted the current lessee as well as all of the bidders from the prior bid process. We got 5 bids in, and the winning bid was for $200 from Mr. Dale Looters. So to have you, the recommendation today is to have you approve the lease that you have in front of you for Dale Looters for 20 acres for 2025. This will come to the board annually, but it just won't be bid out annually unless you ask to do so.
Do I have a motion?
I had a question. Do you want me to say it for discussion? Exactly. Okay. As far as bidding it out yearly, is there a benefit in doing that, or is there a benefit in keeping a relationship with the individual who has it now? I'm trying to understand that last part of your sentence.
Yeah, we could bid it out annually, but I think relationships are important too. And so we kind of weigh that pros and cons. It is a bit of a process, and then bid it and then wait and then see. So it is, we put it out in August and then now we know. So we could do it if you would like, if you would like to do it annually, but historically we've done it every year.
Thank you. I would make a motion to approve the Bridge Road property lease.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? So let's take a vote on the Bridge Road property lease for 2025. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the last recommendation tonight are donations. So this month there are 7 donations. $6,000 donation from the Herb Cole Education Foundation to CHS computer science teacher Stacy Lesmeister. Again, and we mentioned it last year, she won the Herb Cole Education Foundation Award. Also $3,000 from the Cedarburg Athletic Booster Club to support new soccer shelters at CHS. 2010 Lincoln Navigator L Sport utility vehicle valued at $6,750 from Bradley Worth for the CHS Autos program. $10,000 from the Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin to purchase equipment for CHS athletics. $7,000 from the Webster PTO to support student field trips and experiences. $4,950 from the Parkview PTO to purchase classroom supplies for teachers. And $1,905 from the West Lawn PTO to purchase soccer goals for the West Lawn playground. If the board approves all these donations, that will come to $39,605 for the month of September, which is also the total amount that we will have donated for the 24-25 school year.
Do I have a motion to approve the donations?
So moved. I will second.
Discussion?
Jared, and for the vehicle that
Yes.
was back, was that a specific ask for the auto department for that kind of vehicle?
That I didn't go in. My guess is it's probably an open, like, we'll take vehicles if we need them.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor of accepting the donations? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. So, Ms. Smetzel, you've had one committee meeting since the last board meeting, so if you would like to give us a summary of the PNF committee meeting, we would appreciate that.
So on Wednesday, September 11th, we held a Personnel and Finance Committee meeting, and many of the things we voted on tonight were discussed at that meeting, including the dental insurance renewal. In addition to that, we discussed the health insurance renewal and looked at options for self-funding that as well. There was a lot of robust discussion regarding the price of the renewal if we stayed with the current plan, as well as looking at options for being self-funded, and more information is coming on that in the next several weeks. We discussed the Bridge Road land lease. We also discussed the cash flow borrowing and the reason behind that. Some other items were looking at the Hawks Ridge development. There are some parcels in that development that land in both Cedarburg and Grafton, and so there was some discussion about where Cedarburg would like to see that line drawn. We discussed some van lease renewals. There are 3 vans up for renewal, and we've gone ahead and extended those leases. And then we also discussed the 24 and 25 budget. There's quite a bit more information coming as we get ready to approve that budget. We have a future meeting date of October 16th, 2024.
Thank you. So I will take a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Any discussion on that one? All right, the motion, let's take a vote. All in favor?